Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new MGMT.
No, Carl, look at me, like this. Carl, when you finish, it should look like this.
Okay. Could I have some? No!
No!
I hate Cal Chesta. MGMT, self-titled album. These guys are a indie electronic, indie pop duo, or they were at one time. Within the span of a few years, they went from that to just complete psychedelic pop and rock. It was a pretty surprising transition from their first album, Oracular Spectacular, to their sophomore LP, Congratulations, even though there were elements of psychedelic rock and pop on their debut. The fact of the matter is that Congratulations was a much more ambitious, grandiose, and kind of out there record, not quite as sweet with the pop appeal, and it ended up disappointing a lot of the fans that they collected off of the backs of great singles like Electric Feel and Kids and Time to Pretend. I defended that change that they made in my videos, not only because I love it when bands get ambitious and try to reach for the stars, but I thought Congratulations was a good record. And MGMT must have found the process of making a record kind of on their own terms rewarding, because it seems that they are doing it once again with this new LP that I'm sure will earn them even more backlash from whatever fans they have left. Before even a single song was released from this self-titled album, MGMT was saying that our next record, it's gonna be weirder, so watch out. And the forecast started to look like just that after they got Dave Friedman back to produce the record, who produced their first album, also produced music with Mercury Rev, Flaming Lips. Plus, MGMT dropped a few tracks before this album came out, like Alien Days and Your Life is a Lie, and even those songs were more off-kilter than what they had put on Congratulations. Now, like I said earlier, this record, MGMT, does have a little bit of a tie to the Flaming Lips, and I would say that shows up influence-wise on some of the songs, especially with Flaming Lips' more recent stuff. The very fuzzy, ominous, and effects-soaked track, Mystery Disease, feels a lot like something the Flaming Lips might have put on their Embryonic record. And the song A Good Sadness, which is a very vast track, it's a very spacious, atmospheric track, this, I think, would have slipped in pretty nicely to the new Flaming Lips record had that LP been maybe a little lighter in mood, a little more cheerful. Cheerful, lighthearted, those are definitely two words I would use to describe this album as a whole, with the exception of a couple tracks. Many of the songs here feel pretty absurd, maybe a little silly, and intentionally so. The sound that MGMT are going for on pretty much every track here is just really cacophonous, noisy, lots of conflicting signals going on between the instrumentation. This album, production-wise, is compressed as hell. Everything in the mix here is just so pressed and so squeezed in and so claustrophobic, it's kind of like a casserole. Even the quietest tracks on here have a bit of digital fuzz on them from all the compression thrown onto these tracks. And, you know, a lot of people have pointed at this record because of that and have said, oh, loudness war, brick-walled. However, I don't really think MGMT compressed the songs on this record for the same reasons that a mainstream pop star looking for radio play may have their record heavily compressed. I think the reason that this album sounds so crackly is that they legitimately tried to experiment a little bit and come together with a uniform sound and just kind of make a record that has, again, this very boomy, very overwhelming quality to it. However, there's really only so far that I feel like I could defend this production choice, because it does really kill the dynamic range of the instrumentation, especially on the quieter tracks, and it does kind of grate on my ears and wear on me as I am listening to this album all the way through. It does get a little suffocating. I think the space in the breathing room is really kind of necessary when you're talking about enjoying a track such as Astromancy, which is such a spacious, odd and experimental track. I can't really tell why I'm not enjoying this track. Is it because MGMT's sound play is legitimately not that interesting? Or is it because the way this album was produced kind of kills off the richness and the textures and sort of what makes these sounds have body? One thing I know for sure, there are a number of tracks on here where it seems like MGMT kind of emphasizes experimentation and just strangeness over putting together a sweet, punchy, and melodic psych pop tune. And to be completely honest, I sort of find tracks like this to be a little bit of an unrewarding jumble in kind of the same way that some tracks on the last Animal Collective were a little shaky for me, and I didn't really connect with any of them emotionally because a lot of them felt just clouded by all of these sounds and just all of this noise that didn't really necessarily need to be there because it didn't make the track more exciting or more interesting. I really do end up preferring the sweeter side that this record has to offer, like the track Alien Days, which has these beautiful woodwind melodies, as well as colorful keys. It's a very fun, melodic, and quirky track. I think the lyrics are kind of silly and playful. The song Mystery Disease is another great track, much darker than many of the songs on here, but a very coherent and melodic song that sticks out. And there's the song Your Life is a Lie, which is a little repetitive, yeah, but I think it's a hilarious track. I mean, really tongue-in-cheek, really absurd. The lyrics are top-notch. They're sharp. They are clever. And the riff, the really hypnotic sort of broken record riff on this thing, with the booming production, I mean, one kind of complements the other. And then there's the song Plenty of Girls in the Sea, another track on here that I like a lot, of course, lyrically. The song is about what the title says. It's funny. Plenty of girls in the sea. Overall, this is not a bad album. I think MGMT put together some serious bright spots across this track list. It is admirably odd at points, but there are just too many things working against this album for me to just really love it. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this MGMT album. Transition, what did you think of this album? Did you love it? Hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. I want to thank Mangchi for being in this video earlier, making a funny little guest appearance. She does some fantastic Korean cooking over at her channel. You can click on my face to check her channel out. Only the strong subscribe to my channel, as well as her channel, and all mistakes were intentional. Anthony Fantano, MGMT, self-titled, forever.